Yeah, you know, the problem, Greg, is I can do that because I don't work like a scheduled job.
Yeah.
And
No, I mean,
that's
even on my
just,
day off, I like if I nap, it'll just when I wake up from that nap, I'm ruined for the rest of the day. I'm
oh,
just like a
dude,
zombie.
you have to understand, you got to understand the power of the nap. I
Oh,
really got to know the power of the nap at about, I want to say 45. Because I would
mm,
come home from work. I was working a corporate job, and I'd come home, and I would just fucking snooze for like a half an hour of my hour lunch. Oh,
wow.
Last time I had a
it's like
corporate job,
heroin sleep.
actually the CEO of the company said, "If you're tired, go ahead, shut your door, and take a nap."
Wow.
He's like,
That man's a saint.
because he would do it. He had a couch in his office, and he would get tired like middle of the day. He would take a nap in the middle of the day. And the thing was is that I would work with my office open, and every so often my head would go down, and he saw it happen one time, came in, shut the door. He's like, "Listen, man, here's the deal. If you're tired, go ahead, take a nap. Just shut your door. It'll be okay."
Would he be wearing pajamas and a
Because he
nightcap?
knew that I put in a lot of extra hours anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, which was great. It was a cool thing. He was a great guy. He was
yeah.
actually a former kung fu master too. So he had
Wow.
interesting philosophies in life. Yeah, he had um, created his own discipline called like the Gentle Warrior or something like that. Anyway,
Nice.
but all right. So
The
next bad
gentle
habit,
warrior.
Greg. I think this is your worst habit. It's not moisturizing. I don't think.
This is true. I never
Really?
use chapsticks. I never. My lips are just this. I always felt bad when I had girlfriends kissing them. I was like, it's like kissing sandpaper.
I came across it on this list. I'm like, oh, not moisturizing is a bad habit. I'm like, I never moisturize. I'm like, I don't even understand the concept that
That's
not moisturizing is a bad habit.
Yeah,
that's because you both are white and didn't have enough experience with African American people. If you don't moisturize as a white person, any African American who's listening to this podcast right now will know exactly what I'm talking about. As white people, we don't moisturize. The problem is we don't realize we should because we don't get ashy skin
Right.
when we don't. Whereas African Americans do, so they know they have to because there's like an outward physical appearance thing that happens.
Yeah.
And moisturizing is important.
How often do you moisturize, Brendan?
Uh, Certainly every other day.
Really?
you're looking a little
Entire
ashy
body,
right
or
now.
your face, or your arms, or your shoulders?
Hands, sometimes face. Hands more than face.
I wouldn't think you'd need to moisturize that much in Florida because of the humidity.
Nah, it gets a little nappy down here.
Nappy.
Yeah,
Nappy?
nappy.
Like you have to take a nap.
No, not nappy like that. Like nappy like all the sweating that you do because of that just gets all the oils going on your face and it just gets nappy.
I'm kind of well moisturized because I'm half Sicilian. I've always had kind of oily skin, and so I don't have to worry about it. I think as much as most people.
No. You have a fundamental misunderstanding of the concept.
Yeah,
I think I
Greg,
do.
what's your problem?
Yeah, my
Really,
hands
you've got
though.
a fundamental misunderstanding.
My hands are just complete like sandpaper.
I don't think people not moisturizing is a bad habit.
Yeah,
I just don't think that's a bad habit.
Is it a bad habit if you didn't know you were supposed to be doing it?
No, of course not.
Right, that's what
No.
I'm saying. I'm like,
Even if
that's
you
why I
know
thought
you're
it was
supposed to
just
be
really
doing it.
funny that it was on this list. That
yeah.
not moisturizing enough is a bad habit. I'm like, huh? Like,
Hey, did you find on the
like
list,
I didn't even
Matt?
know I was supposed to be moisturizing.
Matt,
But
what's the weirdest thing you found on that list that's not even a bad habit?
um,
Similar to that, I'm curious.
eating
If that's a bad habit. Eating glue?
gluten.
Oh, gluten?
Oh,
What? That is not a bad habit.
on.
Right?
It is if you're gluten free.
Yeah, they have the habits in like different categories, So I'm just like trying to ignore a lot of the crazy ones. Like
That's
here's
just
a
called
bad
protecting
habit:
yourself if you're gluten free.
having a huge to-do list, being
What?
being indecisive,
You know what? I'm going to
refusing
say
to
that
learn new skills.
I'm going to say that having a huge to-do list is a bad habit.
My dad was like that. He would always have the to-do list but not do them and just keep writing these lists of things to do. It's almost like he was putting
Like
too much
shorten the
effort.
list should have been one of the things on the to-do list.
Yeah, do some of the things on the list. That should have been number one.
Yeah, a lot of people, want to overachieve, and they make these giant to-do lists every day, and then they get like a third of it done, and then it just becomes this, fucked up. Oh, I didn't accomplish what I wanted, and
Yeah, the vicious circle.
yeah, it just breeds anxiety. And the next day they go, today is the day I'm going to do it, and they don't just really focus in on what do you need to do.
Usually, my to-do list is like, will I get it done this week? That's what I have on my list. My list is 5 things, and maybe I'll get one of them done over the course of a week. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably get that one done. Nah, don't feel like it today.
Right. So imagine somebody who personally puts themselves through putting, like 20 things on their daily to-do list.
Greg, did you just like fart really loudly?
It was the gas from the soda being released. I thought it would be quiet
enough. The
enough.
soda farted.
Yes, I blame this barking spider. It was a barking spider.
The soda was farting. Yeah, there's a lot of ridiculous things on the list. However, this is an important one. I just realized we kind of skimmed over. Has anyone ever had an issue with gambling, of you guys?
No.
Not me, thank God.
I gambled for a bit, but it never became a problem because it just became not enjoyable when I started losing. But I used to play the horses back in college, and when I first started doing it, I was winning. And but then I decided, I'm going to work out a system. And then I learned that whenever you think you've got a system, that's when you start losing money. And I didn't enjoy the losing money part, so I just stopped. And and I used to love playing poker too, but I didn't like losing playing poker. So I've learned whenever I go to play poker that I put a cap on it where I'll only spend like a certain amount. I won't spend any more than that.
When I was a kid, I went to the Fireman's Fair in my town, and it was one of those things that was almost like gambling where try to get these 3 discs to cover the red circle. It looks so easy.
I really want to back this up to the Fireman's Fair.
That was the thing we had in our small town, the firemen would have
a Fireman's Fair
with rides.
Did you get the burned buildings up too and put them out?
No.
That would be a better Fireman's Fair.
No, it had maybe 2 rides, lots of booze and cotton candy. It was very fun when you grew up in a shitty, boring town like Mayapack. But this thing, I was a total addict at 10. I realized I had a problem because I had that whole mentality. I kept fucking up, losing my money. And I had that mentality of, Greg, you got to keep playing to win it back. You can't stop now, even though you keep losing. But if you stop now, you've lost everything and you didn't get the prize. And I was sweating. I was like that guy in Twilight Zone, the Twilight Zone gambling episode where I would just turn into this gambling addict in an hour. And I never gambled again, except to get free drinks in Vegas when I was there. I did the nickel slots just so I could get free drinks. But I didn't take it seriously.
Yeah.
But I realized I could have been a bad gambling addict if I got into that. I had that whole mentality gamblers have.
But apparently you didn't because you didn't get it.
True, but if somehow
yourself.
Later in life I was hanging out with gambling friends and they got me into it, I probably would have been a degenerate gambler.
I think that could be a good
gambler.
name for a different podcast, Hanging Out with Gambling Friends.
Yeah. I've never had an interest in any of it. I don't give a shit about card games or poker. I'm not really that super competitive. People get into that. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I have realized though is that my wife has that in her. We went on a cruise, and we started in the bar, and we played some trivia game which we won, and we had a couple of drinks, and then we ended up wandering around the boat, and then I said, "Oh look, there's a gambling floor or whatever to the boat. We should go down there and check it out." I was just going to go down there to people watch, so we go down there, and I'm just sort of watching people and just going, "Wow, these people are weird." And she's like, "I'm going to go play this game. I forget, 21 or spin the donkey, whatever the fuck it was."
Spin the donkey.
Give me 20
I didn't realize they let them on cruise ships.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they could be spun.
Yeah, it was a crazy cruise trip. So I gave her the cash because for whatever reason I had the cash. So I gave her $20 and she went off, and she was gone. And I was like, okay. So I'm watching people. She comes back. She goes, I need another $20. I'm like, what are you doing?
I need
And
another 20, man.
This went 3 different times. Finally, the last time she came back, I could see it in her eyes. She's like, you know what? Because it's funny because Greg said this. She goes, I've got this figured out. And I'm like, oh no. As a druggie, I know when you say that you got this figured out, you do not have this figured out.
Does she have like that glazed look in her eyes? She says,
Yeah.
Just need another 20, Brendan. Just
Yeah.
need another 20.
Yeah, no. And that's when I realized, wow, my wife could really go this direction, and I had no interest. So I just took her. We went back to the bar and played another trivia game.
And she wanted to lay bets on it, probably.
It's like, Brendan, I'll bet you $20. I'll get the next question right. You won't. And then she'll take off running.
She spent the rest of the evening explaining to me how the system that she'd figured out was the system. And that she had been watching the cards being dealt, and I'm like, you know what, honey, we're done.
Yeah.
It's not even about the money at this point. It's about your mental health.
I got to say that Twilight Zone episode that I previously mentioned, that was part of it too. That was terrifying. I don't know if you guys remember that, where the gambling machine kills him at the end. It actually starts following him around, going, Franklin. But it sounds like the coin's descending. It's mixed in with his voice going, Franklin. Coin drops. It was terrifying.
I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to watch that again. That sounds good.
Is this like a recent Twilight Zone or an old Twilight Zone?
No, the old classic ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's some stupid habits here. These are negative habits that will increase your monthly bills. Staring into an open fridge.
Well, that wastes electricity.
Right, but you're just there staring, waiting for the food to jump into your mouth.
I don't know if that's a bad habit. Sometimes you don't know what you want to eat, and you're looking at your shit, and you're thinking, you're like, does that look good?
Yeah, I guess it's just something you need to stop doing if it's affecting your bills. But these days, electricity isn't quite what it used to be. There's a lot of things that have changed over time that our parents made us do because that's how they were raised. And so we don't really see the need to do it anymore because the prices of things are kind of negligible in comparison. They're not these huge bills like they used to be.
I did.
No, go ahead, Brendan. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say I did this experiment, something similar with my mother-in-law, in that I observed that if I bought a glass jar or something, like say olives or pickles or something, and I threw it away or put it in the recycling, she would fish it out, wash it out, and then add it to her collection. So
that's a good glass. That's a drinking glass right there.
Right.
Free.
So I began to purposefully, if there were options, I would always go with the glass jar option. And instead of allowing it to be put into recycling, whatever, I would make sure that it got set with the dirty dishes because she did the dishes. So pretty soon we had glass jars everywhere. They were like all over the place. Holly was even commenting, she's like, why do we have all these glass jars? This one just has like soy sauce packets from the last time we got Chinese food. And this one has coffee beans, but there's no reason to have coffee beans in this. And it was
Welcome
all
to hoarding.
But you never had to buy drinking glasses ever again.
Can't throw those away.
Right.
Nothing can be thrown away ever.
Right. So, but my point is, it goes back to what you're saying about how things were the way they were back then. And so she grew up on a farm out in the country in the 50s, and they canned stuff and they saved those jars because they.
Yeah, no, I get it totally. It's like many people grew up in different types of frugality, and that created those later habits, which then got passed over to your kids and what have you. But here's some more legitimate ones. It's about cracking your knuckles as a bad habit.
I've never done it. So
I have at least one kid here who does it constantly. And he doesn't even just do his knuckles. He can do his wrists. He can do his elbows. It's like
pelvis.
Various different things get cracked, and I'm like, that just doesn't sound right to me. I'm like, afraid something's gonna pop off and just fall to the ground.
Is it not good for you to crack your knuckles a lot?
I don't know, because allegedly it's like, isn't it like air bubbles or something in the joints?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. So it's it's not a bad thing.
I mean, I could do it like this just by doing this with my hand. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
I
but
can't. I
I
can't.
don't know if
I
it's a
can't.
bad thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a habit. Like, I know there are people who compulsively crack their knuckles.
Yeah, that'd be a habit.
Yeah, I don't do that. I mean, there's times where I'm like, stretched out and they cracked. Okay,
Right.
but I'm not like
Yeah.
like there's some people I've known that are like
What about whistling? What about people who whistle too much? Just like random made up tunes. They're not even whistling a song. They're just like, like I know some people like that when they're bored or at work. They just whistle. Sometimes I'm that guy, actually.
Do they whistle
to be
while
honest.
they work?
Yeah, but it's not
Yeah.
a happy thing like the dwarves did.
So they're
It's
not short people.
Yeah, but I do it. I notice, and I did notice something interesting though, is that men whistle and women don't. I don't know any woman who whistles. Isn't that weird?
Well,
Think about
think
it.
there are women who whistle because I've heard women whistle.
You have.
Yeah, I think
The
it's
only ones I
probably
have are
more of a
lesbians.
cultural thing than
Or
anything.
butch lesbians.
Lesbians.
In fact, I can tell a woman
Why
if
would
she's a
that
lesbian
be the
if she
dividing
whistles.
factor? You crazy person.
I don't know. I don't understand it. But I've never.
I think he's onto something. I don't know. Like, I know guys that whistle, like lackadaisically, like just do, and they're whistling and whittling a stick or whatever they're doing. It's Florida. I don't know any.
They whistle
women
while they whittle.
Yeah, I don't know any women that do that involuntarily. Like, sure, women.
I mean,
can
habitually.
whistle.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Or
of course, women
habitually.
can whistle.
Of course, they can whistle. I am all about women whistling. It's empowerment, whatever.
Yes.
But the point is, they don't
There's a whole
do
movement to get women to whistle.
Let's start a nonprofit. Women can whistle.
Women can whistle too. Whistling women.
Empowered with whistling. And whittling. We'll get women whittling too, because that is a male-dominated thing.
Women.
Yes.
I think that it's got legs.
I get it though. Yeah, it is. Maybe it's because it's part of men always have to be. Hey, look at me! Look, I'm here. It's
It'd be like humming to yourself, right? You do a lot of humming as well as whistling.
Yeah, it's almost. I don't know. It does seem to be a male thing, and I never noticed that. And I did have a girlfriend who once gave me shit about my whistling. I didn't even realize I was doing it. She's like, "God, I hate that so much," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess I do just do that."
Oh, so this is about you again, really?
Yeah, everything's about me. That's how I know the world, through my
about
eyes.
Your habit.
Yeah, I have observed that the opposite is also true, which is that women will sing, and I don't know that men do. In other words, like sometimes my wife or my mother-in-law, and maybe it's just a Minnesota thing, they'll be down doing the dishes and they'll be, singing some tune, whatever. It's not even like
is it like a sea chanty or something?
A sea chanty.
Like, blow the man down.
No, there's no blow the man down around this house. Sorry.
Oh, ouch.
Boom.
Booyah. I sing.
I
Maybe I'm an effeminate man, but when I'm bored, I sometimes sing a tune to myself. I'll sing some song.
Yeah, I do too.
I do talk. I definitely talk to myself.
Oh, I do too. Because I've been
Is that
alone
a bad habit?
a lot.
I don't know. If you start talking back, it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you start having full-blown conversations with yourself in different voices.
But I'm saying if you're doing that in public,
then that it's like either you're talking to yourself or there's some guy across town doing the same thing and you're basically talking to him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like
if you could get all those people and put them together, they'd look like they were having a conversation. All the people muttering on the bus.
Well, these days, everybody thinks somebody's on the phone using a Bluetooth when they're talking to themselves. So it's like you can get away with it now. You just have like a Bluetooth and you can talk to yourself. You can have a full conversation and no one would know you were nuts.
Because you're not crazy.
Unless they saw that your phone was off. Then it would be a bigger issue.
Yeah, then that would be weird. Right. What about talking to God? That's a bad habit. If you're talking to God all the time, if you think you're talking to God, that can lead people astray to bad places. Like the Son of Sam and all those kind of weirdos. God told me to do it.
We're kind of getting into a different subject.
No, Greg always wants to bring it back to that.
I think it's a bad habit. We're making up habits now. This
You're
list
saying
isn't doing us very
religion is
well.
bad habit, is what you're saying.
No, thinking you're actually talking to God.
Uh huh.
I think even a religious person would be like, well, it doesn't really work that way.
No,
God's not really
you'd be
talking.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy ones think
Well, not even the crazy ones.
that.
Or the ones who are seemingly uncrazy anyway. But what about buying new things? Wouldn't that be a bad habit? Just continuing to buy object after object
As
after
a
object.
cheapskate, I think it is because I'm a total cheapskate. So
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, my mother has like little objects that she collected over the course of the years all over the house. Now, it's not like a hoarding situation where it's all over the floor, but it's kind of like hoarding on the walls. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she would always go someplace to and would get some new little thing, to add to whatever the things was. And I asked her once, like, Mom, you're kind of getting up there in age, and if things happen to you, I'm gonna have to take like a bulldozer to your stuff because I won't know the significance of any of these things. Well, that thing is blah blah blah, and this thing over. I'm like, yeah, you need to write that down if it has any significance at all. Otherwise, it will mean nothing, you know. And she just never did it. So it would always be like this question of, can I throw this away? Can this be thrown away? No, can't throw anything away. It's just not allowed to happen. Now, what about is racism a bad habit?
That's beyond a bad
I don't
habit.
think that's a habit. I think
Yeah,
that's a
that's
mindset.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think a habit is something you, by definition, do habitually. Uh, that's based on some sort of conditioning thing, like picking your nose in public or something. Whereas racism is kind of a mindset, and the reason I say that's different is that that's something you were probably brought up with. I don't know. I don't know.
You know,
It's tough. I see where you could consider it a habit. I just
Yeah.
don't think of it like a habit.
it
No,
also
I
seems
was
like
just tossing it
underselling
out.
it. It seems like underselling it. It's like calling Hitler a young rapscallion or a scamp. It's like it seems like too mild a word for a
Hitler,
bad
you
habit.
scamp.
Hitler was a naughty
Hitler
little
was
scamp.
such a scamp.
He was such a naughty little boy.
It's a
It's like it's
rapscallion.
too mild for racism, a bad habit. It's way beyond that.
Well,
It's like
yes.
murder. Murder
Right.
is a bad habit.
Right. But
Yeah, murder's a bad.
Yeah,
I just can't help myself. Well, I
yeah,
think that's what happens with a lot of serial killers.
yeah.
They
It is a
consider
habit
it becomes habitual for them.
or an addiction. I mean, I guess this all
I think that would
is a
be like the worst of the bad habits would be like continuous murder of people.
Serial killing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, have you watched the Ted Bundy thing on Netflix?
No, but I'm
no.
familiar with Bundy.
Ted
Buddy?
Buddy. He's your
Bundy,
Ted
buddy.
yeah.
Buddy.
He's my good buddy.
Did
He's like my
what
good
I didn't
friend, the
realize when I
murderer.
watched it, I thought, Matt, I thought I knew pretty much everything about Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he escaped fucking twice.
Oh, I didn't know he had
Really?
escaped from prison.
He escaped
Yeah.
from prison fucking twice. He escaped from prison from jumping out a window. Then they fucking caught him after like 5 days or whatever. And of course, at this point, they're just like saying, "You might have kidnapped this girl." And you're like, "Well, wait a minute. This is a really adverse reaction to you might have kidnapped a girl." So then they brought him back. They brought him back to the
Might have.
same. Yeah, they brought him back to the same county lockup, which is why I was like, going fuck county lockup. And he fucking somehow got through the ceiling and escaped again, except this time he escaped so well, he came to Florida and murdered a bunch of girls.
Well, what a ne'er do well.
Well, at least he's got motivation. You can't say that he was a lazy killer.
No,
Yeah,
this guy was
busy.
fucking balls deep.
He sounds like
he
a
had,
real rapscallion.
Well,
he was
well, he given the opportunity, he could have been a Hitler because he was a good-looking guy, and he was in politics, and he had a really decent reputation as a person until he got found out. He wasn't like John Wayne
Yeah.
Gacy. He was like in the public eye, and so there comes a point where somebody like that either gains power or is found out. Luckily they tend to be found out more often than not in our country, in our world, but they still exist, and it's a sad state of affairs. But yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there, that we just don't know about, and they're heading their way out there. So yeah, I'd say serial killing is probably the worst of
Worst habit.
the bad
That is
habit.
the worst
You know,
habit.
compared to like skipping gym days. You know,
But then what about like to your own health though? Would the worst habit be like wanting your balls stomped or something like that would injure you?
I don't even like talking about that.
What?
That's a thing. Well, that's more of a fetish. There's guys out there who only can get off by having their balls stomped really hard, and they end up in the emergency room a lot for their fetish,
My eyes
for
are
their
twitching
pursuits.
because of this topic. So yeah, I would think
Let's get off the ball crushing.
I turned the video off.
Guys, let me demonstrate.
What
Here,
just
look,
happened?
Look at
Did Brendan go somewhere?
he said he had to turn his video off. Is your audio off too, Brendan?
No, it shouldn't be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's your video.
I turned my video off because, one, we started talking about ball stomping, which...
It's the
Fine.
bad habit of mine. I can't stop
All
talking
right,
about
whatever.
it.
We'll get to that, and then second, my wife was coming through, and so I, out of respect, turned off the video so she could go into the bedroom without making the appearance.
And hearing Greg talk about ball stomping.
She probably wouldn't have known what the fuck we were talking about.
Because your wife's bad habit is walking naked through the house, and you turned off the video.
No, I don't think she does that, Greg, because there's other people.
Is that a bad habit? Do you guys know people like that? Who've lived with people who just like walking around naked? Would you consider that a bad habit?
I've never lived with anybody who did it, no.
Yeah.
I would think it's a bad habit if the other people in the house didn't want it to happen. If you're living by yourself, yeah, you can be naked, you can roll around in whatever you want, but if you're living with other people and they don't appreciate it, you keep doing it, it's either a habit or deliberate.
Yeah, you're just a dick.
Right.
Yeah,
But if you can't stop yourself, then you're an exhibitionist.
Right. It's not a bad habit. I mean, as long as everyone, is cool with it, and at a certain point, your kids get to be a certain age where it's obviously not okay.
Actually, I know what my worst bad habit is in terms of body things. My worst bad habit is cleaning out my ears in front of people. Yeah.
Wait, with your finger or a Q-tip?
With whatever is available. It could be a finger. It could be
I do that too.
It could be a paper clip. It could be a knife.
Paper clip? A machete?
No, not a machete, but I've used actual knives in my ear before. Just like scraping it.
Oh, my Lord. Even I am appalled at this behavior.
And it's like a regular thing like throughout the course of a day. And it's not earwax. Apparently, it's just like dead skin that builds up in there. Because I've talked to doctors about it. I'm like, what is this stuff? I'm like, do I have that much earwax? They're like, well, no, it's not earwax. It's dead skin. I just collect a lot of it in my ears for whatever reason. It was just truly bizarre.
That's way worse than picking your nose.
There's like mounds of it on either side of my chair in the house too.
Just
take it, put it on the floor. It's just piling up. There's enough there I can actually put like a plate on it and just eat off of it.
You put it in the jars.
So fucking bad. Matt, do you remember a guy from our past? His name was Vic Crone.
Yeah, I remember Vic.
Vic had this same bad habit.
Yeah.
But what he would do was he would straighten out paper clips.
Yeah.
And he would just dig into his ears like it looked like it hurt. He was digging so hard. And then he would just throw them on his desk and walk away. Like there were just paper clips full of just whatever the fuck he was digging out of his ears.
Chunks of brain.
So he left used chunks of brain. He left used paper clips around his desk, just like scattered. He never used the same one over and over again?
No, each time, maybe it was, I don't know, part of the process. Each time it was a new paper clip.
I think if you see an open paper clip from anybody on a desk, that's what they're using it for. That's my theory, because I have a couple of paper clips like that, but just like two. I didn't have a whole bunch of them.
Well, what happened to me was, I kind of saw it and I was like disgusted. And then I had to use his desk to do like a radio interview or something. So I sat down at his desk and there was like a scattering of them. I don't know how many it was, 5,
Scattering.
6, and I was just like, and they were all, each one of them was just gumped up with various oh my god, it was horrible.
That would be
That
a
is a
bad
terrible habit.
if you left those on other people's desks in your office. That would be an even worse habit. Like
Oh
a
yeah,
little
that would have
present.
been. I would have probably killed him if he had done that.
Yeah, that's pretty rude.
Where is Vic these days?
I don't know. I think he's in Virginia somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Matt, you're gonna have to bleep out his name because we could get sued for libel for this.
Oh well, that is potential there.
Yeah,
I
everyone will
don't know
know
that
he's
he would
an
ever
ear
listen
picker.
to it. What? I just saw somebody sneaking their way behind Brendan.
Yeah, I couldn't click on the thing fast enough.
We've besmirched Vic.
It's okay. She's not
Hi.
hearing bad things now, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, give us some more habits on that stupid list, Matt.
How about not practicing safe sex? That could be habitual. Somebody who never wears a condom, or they don't use birth control. They
No,
just
that's
do
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
That almost seems like beyond bad habit. That's really dumb. I mean, you know what I mean? Like picking your nose isn't going to really hurt you or hurt the world. But
well, it could hurt you if you dig far enough. You could just get
bloody
and,
sure.
You know,
yeah, of
pull out
course.
part of an eyeball.
But not having safe sex, even though it feels so good, Lord knows I don't want to use a condom. But I'm not an idiot, and I don't want to spread any diseases or get any diseases. So
yeah,
it seems beyond a bad habit. It's just really unsafe and dumb.
Well, you know, that in mind, I just found out that there's a place downtown which is like a sex club, and they're starting to have weekly karaoke nights. And just this last month in Florida, mind you, there was a place that was considered a super spreader event where one place ran karaoke and like 50 people came down with the virus and like 1 or 2 people died from that one karaoke night in Florida. I think it was Flagler Beach is where it took place. And and so, you know, finding out about they're running karaoke at some place downtown, it's a sex club, a place called Sanctuary, and it makes you wonder what kind of protection they're taking all around. Are they wearing full body condoms probably? You know, like
they're not though.
Like like in Naked Gun, whenever Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley wore the full body condom, you know, whenever they had sex.
Yeah, when I used to go to my local sex club, when I was a member, there was always condoms everywhere. I think everyone was pretty safe, but we didn't have COVID-19 then, because they had karaoke at the sex club too, and just the spraying.
What was the hit list? What were we singing?
What?
I said, what were we singing at the sex club karaoke?
I want your sex.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I just sang whatever, just like normal karaoke, but it was really bad karaoke.
But why would you go to a sex club to sing karaoke? I don't even understand that.
No, I was a member of the sex club anyway when I was there, and then all of a sudden they started doing karaoke on Sunday nights. It was like bonus. Because they had free lasagna there. That's why I went, for the most part.
Free lasagna at the sex club?
I don't know if you guys know.
There are like random holes in it?
Sex clubs are all about having lots of good food, so like you can recharge after fucking all night. And
I've never been to one, so I have no idea.
I never was either until my late 40s.
You said you were a member.
Yeah, in my late 40s.
You say your late 40s. I'm in my 50s, for crying out loud.
That's what I'm saying. I never went to one either until 5 years ago, and I was a member for a year. I basically went for the free food. Every now and then I'd get into some shenanigans.
It's not free food if you're paying a membership.
No, that's true, but it was like a nice buffet every night, and of course there was shenanigans would ensue every now and then.
Surprisingly. Was it around the buffet where the shenanigans took place?
No, there was no nudity in the eating room.
Oh.
No fucking allowed in the jacuzzis. There's also jacuzzis there, hot tubs, which I don't have. And actually their showers were better than my shower, which had no hot water, so I loved it. I'd go there all the time. And I had a bar.
Yeah.
So it was just a nice place to hang out. But everyone seemed very concerned about safety. In COVID though, all bets are off. I mean, just people getting together and kissing even, you know, you're making out with someone, that's not safe.
Right. In general, it's not really a safe environment. Throw COVID into the mix.
All right. Well,
I mean, there's the whole concern that you could have like COVID turn into this like super STD. You know,
Yeah, it could happen.
it'll transmit like AIDS, but you know, the way that COVID transmits. So you get AIDS like COVID. That would suck. That'd be like the worst virus to come
No,
about.
that's the AIDS was just only pretty much the
I know. I'm
transmitting
saying
bodily thing.
if AIDS turned into something like
Oh, I
COVID,
see.
yeah,
Airborne.
airborne AIDS. Now that'd
Oh
be a
my
blast,
lord.
wouldn't it?
We have to shut down the sex clubs right
We have to
now.
shut down, like that would be like super quarantine.
Yeah.
So we'd all
I
just be
thought they were
walking around in
closed.
hazmat suits.
I can't believe they're open. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, well, apparently they're doing weekly care. I had two friends actually DM me today, send me private messages about it, and I'm like, why are they sending me messages about this? I don't give a crap. But I'm like,
Is DM
okay,
some sex term I don't know about?
no,
I
that's
never heard that.
direct messaging. That's a term for Twitter. It's
Oh,
like sending it into your
okay.
direct messages, DMs. It took me a while to figure out what it meant because I'm not hip. So that here's another bad habit which fits in, which is losing focus when talking to others.
What?
The theme of our show. Oh
Constant
my lord.
interruption. I think
I'm
I'm
I'm sorry. I
probably
was on my phone looking at Facebook, which I just reinstalled.
I'm sorry, I was stomping my own balls with my heel.
but I
Sorry, I
realize I
lost
think
track.
each of us has a bad habit. Brendan is the least of the three of us in terms
Yeah.
of interrupting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Greg and I are horrible about it.
Yeah.
We interrupt each other constantly, and Brendan's
What?
usually much
I
more
yeah,
polite.
but that but
But at
let
least we've
me
gotten better at apologizing for it. I think we're catching it
yes.
I
more.
Yeah, I try because obviously I value both of you and what you have to say, and I don't want to cut you guys off.
Because what we're saying is
Sometimes
so
I have
important.
to, but you know.
Yeah, I
Yes.
value what you guys have to say, but like I want to interject a thought. I don't know when you're quite done, and it's like it's a skill that
And you'll
from
lose
doing this
focus when
podcast.
talking to others.
No, I usually like hearing what people have to say, but also then okay, like I think he's done wrapping this thought up, and I want to add to it. But this podcast has been very useful to me, like like listen, actually hearing people more because I'm thinking about people are going to hear this, and I don't want it to just be chatter and overlapping words.
Yeah,
I guess I don't think about that at a bar.
Well, plus with Zoom, if we're talking at the same time, we can't understand each other whenever the podcast is going on.
Exactly.
Can't hear
Yeah.
what anybody's saying if we're all talking at the same time. Definitely learned that. But still,
Yeah.
it's tricky.
right,
It's
and
tricky.
it's like a rhythm, Greg. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I think over the last number of podcasts, I think we're starting to find that rhythm between the three of us and understanding when somebody's
Yeah.
done.
I listen to
It,
a lot of podcasts, and some of them are amazing at it. Like they're always interjecting a funny joke or something, or jumping in, but never overlapping. They somehow know, oh, this guy's gonna pause right now. I can
they
say a
just
quick
might be
joke.
more polite than us, is all.
No, it's like I try to do that, but it's a skill to have that rhythm, the bantering rhythm, to
Yeah,
banter well.
because the trick is if you have a pause, you don't want to have the long extended pauses because then we have the dead air. So you have to find the way to fill
Yeah,
in that dead air before it becomes dead air. Otherwise, it's a lull, and you don't have a lull because then I'll have to edit that out afterwards. And
yeah.
it's like I'll often go in and sort of like, oh, there's a blank space here. I'll just cut that right out because we know there's nothing happening there except somebody thinking their next thought, what that could be.
Do you guys have any habits that you think nobody else cares about? And maybe I'm getting old and cranky, but when like people exit the bus at the front door, even though it clearly says please exit the rear, that drives me insane. And I think I'm the only one because everyone just walks to the front of the bus and makes everyone in the rain wait to get on the bus. I'm
I
getting old and cranky. I'm just like, that drives me nuts. I'm like, exit the fucking back door,
If you're
asshole.
sitting in the front chair, you should be allowed to get off the frickin' bus in the front, not have to go to the back to get off the
Yeah,
bus.
but there's a line of people waiting to get on, so you're holding up them. They're out in the rain sometimes. It's like,
Listen, they've
it's
been
still
waiting out
weird.
the rain long enough for the bus to come. They can wait for people to get off the bus.
I don't see. I guess I'm the only one who is annoyed by this. I'm an old
I,
cranky fart.
Now, you know what? I get it. I don't have a lot of bus experience, and I haven't for years. But I get what you're saying. Here's the one that I fucking hate, and that is
Ooh, Venom.
people who don't put their shopping carts back in the stupid shopping cart corral like they're supposed to. They just leave it randomly ramped up
Oh
on
yeah,
fucking whatever, or they just park it in an empty spot. These people aren't humans and need to be
extinguished.
destroyed.
I'll
I
often
gotta
actually
say
put their
though,
carts away for them.
I had a job in high school at a supermarket. That was part of my job, was retrieving those carts. So it makes work for. It gave me a job. If those people were more conscientious, half of my job would have been eliminated.
But you know what, Greg? I had that same job. And here's the thing, the job is not to go running around gathering up the shit that people left haphazardly. Your job was, from an efficiency perspective, to go to the cart corral and bring the carts
Yeah,
into the store. The fact that you've got to run around and like pull stuff out and like that's just bullshit.
But don't you have in Florida the same issues we have here, where people take the carts home? They walk their grocery carts to wherever they live, and then they leave their carts there.
No, not
So
so
I'll
much.
see like random carts in different parts of town because people don't drive to get their groceries. They take the
I
grocery
think there's
from the
mostly
grocery
homeless
store.
people take those carts.
I
That's
don't
like a
think it's
homeless
mostly
person
homeless
thing.
people since I've seen them outside of like
Really?
apartment complexes.
Really? Huh.
Oh yes, I've seen people walk away from the grocery store with full grocery carts. I've seen this
I've
often
never seen that.
over by
Yeah,
your
I mean,
favorite buffet place. Actually, I've seen it happen.
Hmm.
here in Florida, I don't know about there, but here you can't take the cart. There's some kind of locking
Yeah, locks.
fucking
Yeah.
mechanism. I don't know how it works. It's like magic, but you can't theoretically. I haven't tested it. Maybe I should take a video of me testing this and give it to you guys. Maybe when we have sort of the video portion of this. But supposedly you can't take the cart out like it locks up when you hit this line.
It's true.
Oh yeah, I've seen that happen before. It's like a special device that you put. Anyway, so we're coming up near the end, but I want to zip through this final part of the list, which are bad habits that are just gross. And this is actually just the middle of the list. So I'm going to zip through them. You guys can pick and choose by the time I'm done, and decide if any of them are not gross or not. So I'm going to do
Lightning
them.
round.
I'm going to do them fast. Exactly. Sleeping with makeup on, eating too fast, not chewing, not washing hands, not flossing, not brushing your teeth. Picking scabs, that's my favorite. Hair picking, skin picking, not cleaning keyboard, dropping food and eating it anyway, not cleaning your cell phone, not covering your mouth when you sneeze, popping zits in public, and chewing tobacco. That's that section of that particular list.
I do all of those things except chewing tobacco.
You
No,
pop
I
your
don't
zits
do
in
that.
public?
No, I don't do that. I don't have any zits as an old man.
I wish that I did. I still get them. I still get
Really?
zits. Yeah,
Wow.
it's annoying. I'll get whiteheads in various different parts of my head. It's really
Yeah, I'm going to go with
bothersome.
popping zits in public as
Yeah,
the
that's
most
really.
disgusting thing I can think of.
Picking scabs is a good second there on though.
It's a good
Yeah.
second for sure. For sure.
Chewing scabs would make it even worse.
Throwing scabs at people and strangers.
Or
That would be
popping zits with scabs that you've picked.
Yeah, there's a lot of badness in that list. It was mostly all bad. Chewing
They're all the
tobacco,
gross
though,
ones.
I guess is I think it's better
brushing
than
your
smoking.
teeth, brushing your teeth with the pimple juice and scab stuff.
Or brushing someone else's teeth with that concoction. That would be worse.
Or flossing with
Hey,
scabs.
I'm going to brush your teeth right now with this. That would be bad.
All right, well, let's get
Chewing-
to the pizza
chewing, Greg.
fund. Let's start wrapping this thing up because we've definitely run the gamut today with this. Oh, because everybody listening, there won't be an official episode next week, like a brand new one. This one's going to get split up into two parts because I'm going out of town again. So we'll definitely get a new episode next week. It's just going to be, well, you're going to be hearing this part of it in the second week. So it's pointless for me to actually bring this up. All right, well, let's talk about the pizza fund. So this week, this number doesn't seem right, but we're at $4.63.
What were we last week?
I don't remember us being that high. I mean, I don't think we
Weren't we $3.99 or something? Roughly?
Yeah, we like
I-
391, three.
Yeah.
It was
were we in the
almost four.
threes. Oh, I thought we were in the fours already. So I thought
No, we were in the threes for sure.
were we? Okay, it was like 391. Okay, so
Something
for
like
some
that.
reason I thought we were like at 430 last week, and I'm like, wow, I only got 30 cents this week. But I don't know how many more people listen to us. But let's take a look at the episodes. Well, last week, yeah, so the last episode hasn't had as much play as the ones before. So, which our last episode was We Don't Need No Stinking Age Limits. That got 26 plays. So
Mm.
that can explain it. The one before that is already like the second highest of all of, well, I guess it's not the second highest, but it's up there with 36 plays. And then the school subjects before that was 35. So that explains that a little bit. Now we've got interesting demographics this time, though. So
Yeah.
we've lost more French people, not surprising. Um,
God.
U.S. is at 84%, France is at 12, and now the less than 1%. We've got a couple of new ones. I'll just rattle them all off to you. So less than 1% from Ireland, Canada, India. Here's a new one: Bangladesh. We've got some new listener in Bangladesh, United Kingdom, Germany. I don't think we had Germany before. Ukraine, Philippines, and I don't think we had Philippines before either. And
Yeah,
then
we had Philippines last time
did we?
because
Okay.
I mentioned that I had all the people. I had people that work for me in the Philippines, but my two main guys that work for me are in Bangladesh.
Oh, so that did you talk to them about it or something?
No, not necessarily.
Okay, and then finally Nigeria, and the way
That
it's worked.
guy, that guy, I have an issue with, but that's an whole other thing.
Well, at least he's sticking around, unlike the French who are disappearing.
Yeah, we just
That's
lost
because
him
we're
now, thanks to
insulting
Brandon.
them.
And so where we're being heard is 39% are on random podcast platforms,
Uh,
30% on Apple, 11% on Anchor, 10% on Spotify, 3% on Google, and 3% on Overcast. I find it interesting that we have so few people listening on Anchor and like three times as many on Apple. So not like it's some huge number since it's, 26
I think
episodes.
most people have Apple, like I do. I didn't even know what Anchor was until you started this podcast.
Well, I don't know that
well,
most people have Apple. I just a lot of people have Apple.
I mean, well, one of the good things about, I guess, that as a metric is that I know I only listen to it on Anchor, so I'm only a part of that subset.
I would also like to take this time to thank our sponsors. We have three sponsors this week who aren't paying us anything, so I don't know if they're really called sponsors.
There would be
But
charity. It's our
No, they're
charity, but
called fucking leeches.
yeah, they're very good
getting free promotion.
groups that are doing very good things, and I'd like to thank them for hitching their wagon to our star, if you will.
And this is why you're the one who should be actually doing the public service announcements.
I can't do accents as well as you.
You don't have to do accents. That's just me to make it less
That
boring for me
helped.
to do them.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll do a
Well, I
horrible
guess
Italian
I
accent.
guess if we have to vote, then we should vote.
it's not a bad idea.
Fucking
Um,
anarchist Brandon over here.
and just to let everybody else know who's
Tear it all
listening,
down.
send us messages. Also, there's a way if you go to our page on Anchor, you can leave us voice messages. For those of you who are interested in leaving us voice messages, you can do that on there, and we can
Oh,
listen
that's
to them.
exciting.
Or send us
I
an
want to play
email.
those.
You guys could, well, if we had any, but you can make your own voicemail
Yeah.
messages for us. You can email us at qsblawoffices@gmail.com. Again, find us on Twitter at qsblawoffices. So Greg hates that I do this, but anybody want to finish things off with a profound or pithy quote of any kind, whatever you want it to be, something moving. Anybody got something?
Voting is important.